I'm Miranda Kahn. Coming up right now on Newsmax Now, the campaign trail heats up in Miami with Marco Rubio now in the race. But can he take the heat? More on this moment and all the media hype over the Florida Senator's thirst for the Oval Office.
And that handkerchief, close to 13. You heard it here first on Newsmax TV last week from Senator Mike Lee. Today, Senate Foreign Relations Chairman Bob Corker says he is close to a veto-proof majority for congressional review of that Iran deal. So what does John Kerry hope to accomplish meeting with members of the House today? And no one seems to like drones these days, not even chimpanzees. See, these primates are revolting over their privacy rights.
Welcome to Newsmax Now.
And we welcome you in. John Bachman, Miranda Kahn here. Good to have you here with us. It's 11 o'clock on the East Coast. And we're getting started here on Newsmax Now. Let's get started with the big news out of Miami last night. Calling this year's presidential election a generational choice, Florida Senator Marco Rubio has officially jumped in. In his announcement in Miami, Rubio quickly took aim at what he sees as a candidate from the past.
Now, just yesterday, a leader from yesterday began a campaign for president by promising to take us back to yesterday.
Rubio burning her there, of course, talking about Hillary Clinton, who announced over the weekend.
Speaking of Hillary, she's kicking off her campaign today by heading back to Iowa, a state where she came in third in the 2008 caucuses. Clinton is taking a van to Iowa, trying to spend more time with voters. Our own John Funn says Hillary is battling a trust deficit.
Her approval ratings have fallen below 50%. Only 29% of people believe she told the truth about the email scandal. Majorities in key swing states think she's not honest and not trustworthy.
And it looks like Clinton will have to wait for an endorsement from President Obama. Obama holding off for now because some of his other friends may consider a run for the White House.
All right, what do the Bible, the U.S. Constitution, and the Declaration of Independence all have in common? Well, according to the Pentagon, sexism. According to a Defense Department's approved sexism course, all three of those texts are used as historical causes of sexism.
The South Carolina police officer who killed Walter Scott gets caught on video again. Michael Slager, seen here allegedly tasing another black man in the back while he laid down face down on the pavement. That man is now suing Slager and the city of North Charleston. 4 former guards from the security company Blackwater received sentences in the killings of 14 Iraqis. All of the victims died in a violent firefight in Baghdad back in 2007. A federal judge in Washington handed down 30-year sentences to 3 of those guards. The 4th, Nicholas Slatton, seen here, will spend life behind bars. Witnesses say he was the first to open fire.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that coming up later this week, Miranda. But Democrats and Republicans in the U.S. Senate could be closing in on that deal now that would allow Congress to review any potential nuclear deal with Iran. Top lawmakers in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, which is chaired by Tennessee's Bob Corker, have been negotiating ahead of an expected committee vote, which could take place as soon as today. That bill faces a likely veto threat from the White House. It already has, in effect. But Corker has been trying to line up enough support among Democrats for an override. And that would be 13 Democrats he needs.
And it's definitely not a ride. A baggage handler expected an Alaska Airlines flight was forced to return to Seattle's airport after crew members discovered the worker in their cargo. Turns out the man fell asleep in the cargo hold and woke up shortly after takeoff. He was checked out at the hospital, passed a drug test, and he was released.
Well, a suspect in that deadly shooting in North Carolina on a community college campus has now been arrested. Kenneth Stansel was captured about 1:30 this morning, sleeping on the beach in Daytona Beach. Police say he had a knife with him but was arrested without incident. Stansel's a former student at Wayne County Community College. He is accused of killing a man in the school's print shop.
A reserve deputy in Oklahoma faces manslaughter charges in the shooting death of a suspect during an arrest. Police video shows Robert Bates shooting Eric Harris in the back. Bates apparently thought he was holding a stun gun at the time. Lawyers for Harris's family say they aren't buying it.
There's no way an officer can get this confused for this.
And Bates faces up to 4 years now behind bars if convicted.
Well, there could be a new cure for obesity, gut bacteria. Vanderbilt University scientists have programmed a common bacteria in your gut that may help overweight people reduce the amount of food they eat. Mice on a high-fat diet were given that same bacteria and wound up eating less and also having lower body fat. And be careful where you step when looking for a wayward golf ball. A man in Australia, of course this is in Australia, learned that lesson the hard way after being bitten on the leg by a crocodile. The golfer admits he's pretty much to blame. He says the croc was just sunning itself and he did not even see it when he walked by. Interesting stuff there, Miranda. You know,
yeah.
In Florida, you
Talk
got
about
the alligators,
right?
But they're not as aggressive as the crocodiles. You got to look out for those
I'm
crocs.
sure a lot of people in other parts of the country are thankful that it's just sand traps that they have to worry about.
Right, right, not other things. Let's move on, though. Let's talk about what we're going to expect to be paying a close eye on today, Miranda. That's the Senate,
right,
where Bob Corker is alluding to the fact that he may be close to getting a veto-proof majority to push back against the president's nuclear plan. Senator Corker, again, is chairman of the Foreign Relations deal. That nuclear deal is a very hot topic. You can see the story coming to you from Newsmax.com, also on Politico today. Specifically, how would the same situation be handled if Senator Rand Paul were to be elected president of the United States? Take a look at this attack ad.
The Senate is considering tough new sanctions on Iran. President Obama says he'll veto them, and Rand Paul is standing with him. Rand Paul supports Obama's negotiations with Iran, and he doesn't understand the threat.
You know, it's ridiculous to think that they're a threat to our national security.
Rand Paul is wrong and dangerous. Tell him to stop siding with Obama, because even one Iranian bomb would be a disaster.
And so we're looking at this, Miranda. We see the friendly fire coming in
Friendly.
already.
Friendly
That is
fire.
a friendly fire. That is a conservative group right there. And you would expect this when these guys jump in the race. They're going to have to answer for some of these things, including what you're about to talk about from Lindsey Graham.
Wow, here is Lindsey Graham taking aim.
The best deal, I think, comes with a new president. Hillary Clinton would do better. I think everybody on our side, except maybe Rand Paul, could do better. So that's one way of looking at this program, keeping the interim deal in place that's been fairly successful, and have a new crack at it with a new president that doesn't have the baggage of Obama.
All right, also the media ripping Rand Paul, and a lot of attention being paid to their attendance in these Senate subcommittees and committees that they serve on, because they also have to be presidential candidates. BuzzFeed took a look at Senator Paul's Homeland Security hearings back to 2014. This saying that he attended only 5 out of 73 hearings since last January, less than 10% overall, yet he says national defense is the primary constitutional function of the federal government. Also, Politico writing that Ted Cruz has the worst attendance record of any senator on the Armed Services Committee last year, and Senator Rubio missed 3 closed-door intelligence and ISIS briefings recently because he was campaigning in California. That's the type of stuff that's going to come out.
Heat is on, definitely.
Yeah, heat is on. Of course, it's going to be interesting to look at that because we got these presidential campaigns going now. We also had this big day in the U.S. Senate. We talked so much about this. Last week, we talked to Senator Mike Lee from Utah, and he was telling us this about where things were in the House, in the Senate, in terms of getting a veto-proof majority for the president. Let's take a listen.
I think it's close to 13. I don't know what the exact number is. I don't think anyone knows what the exact number is, but every day that passes makes it, I think, that much more likely that we're going to have a number closer to 13 among the Democrats who are likely to join with Republicans and saying, hey, look, this involves some very significant implications for the United States and for our allies around the world, especially for Israel. We need to be able to weigh in on this.
And Miranda, as we talked about, John Kerry going over to the House of Representatives today, trying to meet with some of those folks over there. Probably not a warm reception there for Kerry.
No, probably not. But do you think they'll get that magic number 13?
I think
we've seen what's happened to Menendez.
I'm more interested to see if they get close to it, how the White House responds. I don't think they want to be in that position, but we'll see. That's what today is all about, so make sure you stay tuned.
That's right. All right, so remember to stay connected to those stories and much more by going to Newsmax TV and Newsmax.com. And coming up later during our roundtable discussion, Hillary Clinton does something the Pope can't even do. Go into a restaurant without drawing attention. Well, it's getting attention today. Was it a campaign trail fail or was it a calculated move?